everyone, my name's Katrina and today I'm going to be sharing with you my spooky TBR. And by spooky I mean books that I feel like they'd be good to read around Halloween time. So they could be books that are paranormal, or they could be mysteries or have some thrilling elements. Nothing too concrete here, just going with what I feel like would work for Halloween. Most of these books have been on my shelf for quite a while as well, so in addition to wanting to share with you books that I'm excited to read, I thought this would be a really cool opportunity to see if any of these are ones that you would really recommend, so I could bump them up my TBR pile higher and hopefully read them sooner. Let's jump into it. The first book and a half is Gone Girl and Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. I got about halfway through Gone Girl before giving up. In previous videos where I've mentioned that I put this book down, at least temporarily, half of them have said don't bother picking it up, to be honest, and the other half are like, you're so close to getting to the really good stuff. So I'm still quite conflicted if I'm going to pick up Gone Girl, but in response to me previously mentioning that I was struggling a bit with Gone Girl, I did have quite a few people recommending Dark Places and Sharp Objects over Gone Girl, so that made me a little more excited to pick up Dark Places. This one sounds really interesting. So when Libby was younger, her evidence put her older brother behind bars, and as she's getting older, she's starting to question things. There's a group of people who are convinced of her brother's innocence, so she's starting to wonder, was her evidence correct? Was it really her brother that she heard, etc, etc. Sounds really cool. So yeah, we'll see how I go with these. The next two books are from Maria Lois, the dear Maria Lois, who just loves Halloween. Absolutely loves Halloween. So I think it's rather appropriate that all of her books really fit within this time of year. I would be surprised if they didn't, to be quite honest, but there's two of her books that I'm really looking forward to getting to. I recently read It Came from the Deep, which is her mermaid novel, which I really enjoyed. But for the ones I'm yet to read, we have Who's Afraid, who follows Tommy Grayson, who discovers she is a werewolf and she's kind of thrown into a centuries-old battle. And we also have The Witch Who Courted Death, which is coming out really soon. And in this one, we have Caspar, who is a medium. Caspar is living a relatively normal life until a pretty horrific accident, which leads her to the trail of a witch who was the only other person to also survive this interesting, mysterious enemy. Oh, it just sounds so good. It says, reinventing witches and ghosts with a much needed feminist twist. Give it to me. Another witchy one is A Curse of Ash and Embers by Jo Spurrier. So I was recently sent this one from the publisher, so thank you very much HarperCollins for sending this my way. And as soon as I opened it up, I was like, yes, witchy books. I've not read too many of them. It's been a little while since I dipped into a witch book. Well, that being said, I did recently read The Wicked Deep, but I didn't love it, so I'm looking for something else. There was an old witch named Gisha Blackbone who made monsters. That witch is now dead, but we have Elodie, who I think her job is to kind of clean up this old witch's mess, and I'm assuming to get rid of the monsters that she had created. I think that's where this story is going. Sounds really cool. Next up, we have Lady Helen and the Dark Days Club by Alison Goodman. This is the Australian proof that I received like in 2015, so I've been meaning to read this for a really long time. This one sounds like such an interesting read. It's like a historical, supernatural one. It's set in the early 1800s in Regency, London, and we have Lady Helen, who just before she's supposed to be presented to the Queen, finds herself like drawn into the shadows of London. I think she finds out she's a demon hunter. Something to do with demons. It sounds so cool. I've heard really good things about this one, so looking forward to it. The next book I'm going to be talking about is a Bloomsbury book that we're publishing next year, which I'm really looking forward to. A few people in my office have read it already and really enjoyed it, so I'm itching to dive into it, and that is The Flower Girls by Alice Clark Platts. We have two sisters, Laurel and Primrose, and when they were younger, they were out playing in a park with a girl one day when that girl wound up dead. One of them was convicted of murder, the other one was given a new identity. And then fast forward a couple of decades later, we have Hazel, one of the sisters in her new identity, on her 25th birthday, and another girl has gone missing in circumstances that are very reminiscent of what had happened in her past. Sounds good. The last one I'm going to be talking about today is Under the Dome by Stephen King. I think this one is a science fiction one, but it sounds like a really terrifying and thrilling sci-fi novel. It's about this town, and one day an invisible dome just lowers over the town, and there's a guy who's like severed in half, someone loses his hand, there's a plane that crashes, and there's one guy, an Iraq war vet, who's trying to leave the town, but doesn't make it out, so now he's trapped in there. It's about the aftermaths of this dome lowering over this town and completely isolating it from the rest of the world, and kind of the town struggling with food and supplies, all of the resources. I'm assuming potentially butting heads and conflicts, things like that. Sounds really interesting. Really interesting. I've been itching to pick this one up, but like, my god. Intimidating much. Yeah, that's gonna be a big commitment, but I am really looking forward to this one, so hopefully sometime soon. So these are just a few of the spooky-ish books on my TBR pile that I would really like to get to at some point. As I mentioned, if you guys have read any of these and would recommend them, please let me know down in the comment section below. And if you do have any other spooky recommendations, I would love to hear them as well. So that's all that I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you very soon in a new video, but until then, I will talk to you in the comments. Bye!